All right, welcome to another week of the Coaches Show, joined by head coach Brent Hoelting and the voice of the Greenbacks, Austin McNorton. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Yep.
Always fun. Last week, big win over Nickerson, 54-18, captures us a league title, which have been few and far between since about the early 2000s. So, you've mentioned it a couple of times about how important that is and how big a deal that is. Speak a little bit about that.
I think it's huge. I'm really proud of our kids. Really proud of our kids. I don't know if there's a whole lot of people outside of that locker room that thought we could do that at the beginning of the year. That would probably come on public record and say, oh, yeah, I expected that to happen, especially after the last 2 years. So it's a testament to those kids' hard work. And I think anytime you want to set yourself up as the premier program team in your league. And now we want to keep that ball rolling, but these kids got it started. Super proud of them. It was awful fun, awful cool moment to see them get a ring the bell on senior night, win a league title. That's something I told them that no one can ever take away from you. No matter how old you get, you can go and tell your kids, your grandkids that you won a league title your senior year, and some of those juniors and sophomores we have playing. So I think it's something just special for the community, and was real happy we were able to get it done.
Sticking with that theme of a league championship, you've won multiple back-to-back throughout your coaching career. How difficult is to maintain that level of success and try and repeat?
Yeah, it's hard. We won. My first 4 years at Linden, we won one, and you're the hunted. Mm-hmm. You go from being the hunted to the hunted, and I think in a way it makes you better because you get every team's best shot, and I think that's a lesson we've learned this year, even with Cheney and Holcomb and those guys. Their coaches have said after the game, we geared our kids up. We told them this team's really good, and they're really physical, and if you're not ready to play physically, then you're going to get embarrassed all night. And so I think we've learned that we're going to get everybody's best shot, and I think that's something continuing. We know even next year it'll be a renewed focus. Yeah. We're not going to sneak up on anybody anymore, and in a way that's good because your preparation is better at times, I think. But in a way, it's you're going to get everybody's best shot, everybody's trick plays, everything that they have, and so you got to be ready each and every week. And I think it takes a lot of mental focus more so than climbing to the top of the mountain to stay at the top.
And talking about getting everybody's best shot there, I felt like we got that from Nickerson. We went into that game thinking, they're 0-7. You never like to say the word trap game, but they came out, scored first, put us down 8-0 or 6-0. I don't know if they converted 6-0. Talk about a little bit how that game started and kind of how it progressed. It started a little bit slow, but then I felt like we got things going.
Yeah, I didn't think that we brought the appropriate amount of urgency defensively. I thought our effort was a little off there. Offensively, I thought we executed reasonably well, but I thought we were missing some juice maybe. And I'm not going to say it's not hard. Human nature. They're 0-7. They've been beat by some teams that quite frankly would be pretty bad. And so human nature as a high school kid is we got this, and we just keep trying to preach to our kids. And, we told them at halftime, it isn't about them. It's about you. Or are you being the best you can be? Are you improving every minute that you're on the football field, every second? And I think that's what maybe we were missing a little bit that I thought our kids got back to. I was really proud of how they responded at halftime and came out in the second half, and we played with some urgency there, and then it got out of hand real quick, and that's what we knew we were capable of doing versus them. But it was a good lesson. We didn't rush in lanes. That quarterback's a good quarterback.
He's an athlete.
He can move.
Yeah, you could tell.
Yeah, he's one of the better athletes we've faced all year, and it was a good test for me going into this week because this quarterback will be the best overall athlete that we faced all year. And we've got to rush in lanes, keep him in the pocket, or else he can do some damage.
What did you think was kind of the turning point in that game where you were like, okay, now we can build on this, get some momentum into tonight or into Friday night's contest?
I thought the halftime adjustments.
Okay.
Speech, a famed Coach Hoelting halftime speech.
I don't know. We talked about some things and talked about who we wanted to be as a team and what kind of urgency we wanted to play with. And I challenged them a little bit. Yeah. And this team has been a resilient bunch in terms of when they're challenged, they've responded, reasonably well. I think Cody mentioned it a couple weeks ago. And honestly, I hadn't thought about it until then that, even against Holcomb and Cheney, we outscored them in the second half.
Yeah.
And so this team's going to fight, and that's what we want. We want to make it a fist fight, so to speak. We're not going to win pretty all the time. We want to get down and dirty, and we want to wear you out physically. And I thought they did that. And then I thought when they started playing excited, and with emotion, that it snowballed real quick. And I think that's what we need to do Friday night.
Yeah, one of those big plays that got the snowball going and the excitement is a person you don't talk about a whole lot is the kicker, Fernando. And that's what everybody was talking about after the game was, first of all, where did those two balls come from that he puts out of the end zone? And then he puts a beautiful onside kick, which we're not sure if that was intended, kind of like the original fake punt to start the season off. It sounds like that falls in the same category.
No, the fake punt was more called than that one. It wasn't quite intentional.
Where did that leg come from Fernando?
I'm going to be honest with you. I asked him the same thing on Friday night because he's kicked well all year, but he has not kicked deep like that at all. And what he did, he's been kicking soccer style most of the year. He toe poked him. He came up. He's got a good leg. He's got a powerful leg, and he toe poked him.
Yeah, he put it on display.
Oh man, it was awesome. And I was like, man, we need that all the time.
I didn't know we had that in the bag.
You and me both. No, it was awesome, and I was happy for him. For a kid like him who's stuck it out with us and brings a great attitude every day. He always has a positive attitude. He's a great kid. He's made leaps and bounds of strides in my 3 years here. Really good kid. Really happy for him that he had a great senior night.
Okay, so now tell us about that onside kick that on paper
that
looked
was
like,
supposed
because
to
I
be
had
a
called
pooch
it
kick.
earlier in the broadcast.
You
I had
saw
told
the
Austin, I
spot,
said,
yeah.
that's open. They're not.
So-
Nickerson wasn't too aggressive on that short kick to the sideline.
So it wasn't necessarily an onside, but we did want to place it and say, we always tell our kids if we can place it right, we give ourselves a chance at a recovery, because you and I know ball starts bouncing around, and especially in a high school game with kickoff, because that's where a lot of people kickoff return and stuff want to put in some people to get a breather,
Right.
And so we know that's always kind of an opportunity, and obviously I think we've capitalized on it several times this year, but try to put it in a place. But man, that one, he kicked it. I don't know if I've seen many balls ever that had that much English on it.
It came back. We had about three guys overrun it. I thought we were going to miss it.
I thought we were going to get it and then miss it and rue our chance because we ran by it, because that thing had so much English. Our kids were expecting it to go on, and they were hustling. And that thing, it was like a pool ball. It was awesome. He was pretty excited. That was a pretty cool deal.
Well, and that got that put us in position to score 3 times within, what was it, Austin? 2 minutes.
We scored, we kicked that, and then we hit the vert to Johnny the very next play and scored, and then got a 3 and out, and I think scored in 2 plays again, and and then the route was on.
Yeah, that's when it
became a running
open.
clock from that point on.
Yeah, that's really when it broke it open.
What does a game like that do in a game you're expected to win? You struggle at first, then you really turn it on. A couple of big plays. What does a game like that do to help you prepare for the number 2 team in the state?
I think it just tells our kids, when we bring the appropriate amount of urgency and focus, we can do anything we want to do. We can do great things. And we've talked all year with our kids. I've talked in here. We are execution based. We need to execute. We got to do things the right way to give ourselves a chance at a lot of success. And I think when they did that and they came out, then all of a sudden we had a ton of success, and it was fast. And that's what you should do to a team that, quite frankly, we thought we matched up well with, and we could do some things. That's how it should have been, all game. And like I said, the good news is, our kids, even not playing well in the first half, we scored 30, and I don't think we were particularly sharp. Now, obviously we gave up 12, and that's way more than we want to, but I think that's a testament to our kids, the stuff they do that I know we're pretty hard on them, that even when they don't play great, they're still doing good things, just not perfect things sometimes. And I'm sure they would probably tell you, anyone that my wife yelled at me for, taking 10 minutes of play when I was breaking one down, that I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So I think it was good to see. I was really pleased, and I know they don't hear me probably say that enough with how we came out in the second half.
Well, your wife had the best T-shirt that we've seen all year at the game, so she gets a hall pass for us.
That was. I mean, she was kissing up.
Yeah,
fan of the game.
Fan of the game.
It won.
That's
so
what it takes.
It worked for her.
Oh my gosh,
That was amazing.
I've heard about it all week.
Good.
Yeah,
shirts are kind of the theme this year.
apparently.
Hey, we don't have the board up this year to go over, or this week to go over some plays. But I did want to talk about, and I don't know if I was seeing this right, but it looked like Carson on some of those pass plays, he was really going through his progression a lot more this week. You could kind of see his eyes change, where sometimes he's had the tendency to always look for the deep ball and let it fire and just hope he's there. But I thought I could see him this week look for that deep ball and then check down on that wheel route to Johnny or JR, and it really looked like a sign of growth there. And maybe I wasn't seeing it right.
No,
from the boot there,
Carson's going every week, and man, he was great this week. His attitude was great. I thought the one that was really, really good, not even the deep balls, was on the rollout when he hit Grant in the back of the end zone on the 2-point conversion. Hitting that progression, because there are people coming in your face from the outside, and to be able to turn back inside and hit your last part of the progression is a big time play. Put a nice throw on him in the back of the end zone. Even the ones he missed. We had Johnny on the 4th and 8 wide open in the flats. I told him those misses are going to happen as long as the process is good. We can fix mechanics, we can fix your footwork, stuff like that, as long as your process and your eyes are good. And where I think Carson's really growing is he's starting to understand that we don't have to watch our guys. We know where they're going to be. We want to watch the defense. And, in that vert play that he hit Johnny, we always talk about, especially with the way they were playing us, when they walk up, and we've had a couple teams do this, Cheney, even some of those, when they walk up that force player really hard, that's the guy who most of the time they're playing man has to get Johnny, and Johnny's pretty quick outside. So they take a false step, he's going to be open. And so our first read is that corner, the only way they can cover if that corner slides down to Johnny in the flat, and then the safety slides over to pick up JR on that vert. We're running 4 verts. And so anytime, he's done a good job. He knows anytime that corner runs with JR, we're going to take a shot, because at worst we got a safety coming from midfield to Johnny, or we got an outside linebacker, inside linebacker covering him, and we feel pretty good about that matchup. And so Carson did a really good job of identifying, and a lot of it we talked about is make some of your decisions pre-snap. Take away, especially when we're running a mirror concept. In other words, we're running the same concept both sides of the field. Find the safety alignment or the backer alignment that whatever concept we're running takes away certain parts of the play. If they're lined up like this, they're heavier over here. They may be 3x2 over here and only 2x2 over here.
Right. Don't force yourself to read so much post snap. Eliminate that before snap and know the play is going to be here.
And go here and in your eyes. And Carson did a really good job of that last week. And I thought consistently, whether we completed it or whether we completed it or not, his process was good, and that was good to see.
We've seen, and you were just talking about from an individual progression standpoint, the way Carson has progressed throughout the course of the season. Now that the regular season has come to an end, how do you feel like, and what's been the biggest improvement from a team standpoint from week 1 to now going into week 9? What from a team standpoint has been the biggest improvement?
I think probably up front, offensive line, blocking. I think we understand, and I thought even second half especially, we were physical. And I think we even brought a different level of physicality. We moved some people around, put Maui at inside tackle, put Easton at center, and put Brock at quick guard. And I thought that was a really good look for us. It should have done that probably earlier in the year, because Brock does a really good job of pulling, getting his head inside, which we ask a lot of that quick guard. And Maui and Drake, we were talking about it today even. When you have Maui and Drake and you're running power behind those two big boys with Mason leading the way and Trevor or someone lead blocking, like, you got 4 physical dudes that are going to hit you.
Right.
And tackling Enoch, like, you may do it one play, but play after play, it's going to hurt.
Well, on Friday night we had 3 rushers over 75 yards, I think. So I mean, just the diversity and and the options that we have in the backfield. Speaking of options, we saw an option too.
Yeah, we did.
That was a new wrinkle in the offense.
Yeah, we break those out occasionally.
Yeah, that
every
was
week
fun.
there's always something
there's a
new.
Jump
That's why
pass. There's a spinner play, a ghost, an option. It's fun to see what we're gonna.
I'm excited for Friday night.
Excited for Friday night. Going into Friday night, big time playoff game facing the number 2 team in 3A, Wichita Collegiate, 7-1 on the season. What's been the attitude this week? What's been the build up and the just? Good. Hey, boys, you know what you're facing.
Right. And I, we talked to our kids. Obviously, we played them last year. and the playoffs. And, that game, the final score got out of hand. But if you remember right, it was 7-0 with 3 minutes left. We're on their 21-yard line, 3rd and 1. Had an empty set. We were motioning across to kick on a power. And unfortunately, the look was perfect. We got what we wanted. We had down blocks everywhere, kick out block. I'm very confident we'd have got the first down. Don't know if we'd have scored on the drive. Don't know what would have happened. But, no, we're not going to leave them enough time probably with less than 3 minutes left. They're not going to get much time to score. It's probably at worst a 9-0 game, hopefully at best a 9-7 at halftime. If you remember, we snapped the ball a little early, ricocheted off Bryce, and they took it back like 60 yards to like the 4, scored, and then we were coming down in a 2-minute offense. We threw a pick 6, and so instead of 9-0, 9-7, it was 23-0 at half.
Yeah.
So I think that even gives us confidence. Like guys, we played with these guys a little bit last year, and we know what to expect. That. Look, just because they have a WC on their helmet, that tradition doesn't mean anything Friday night. Friday night is between us 2 teams this year. And I think our kids are excited. They know that they watch the Annandale game, and obviously Annandale's really, really good. They're the team to beat in the state, but they saw Annandale doesn't run the same offense we do, but there are a lot of people in the box, physical downhill, and we preached all week, like, look, if you get downhill, get after them. That's what you got to do to beat this team. They play really hard. They're well coached. They're very athletic. Very fast. So, but I think our kids are excited for the challenge. I told them what a great opportunity. What a great opportunity. To go shock the state, go do something great. I think
that's what you ask for.
Yeah, that's what I told them. All you can ask for at this time of year is a chance, and we got it.
Is there a different mindset or approach or speech that you give to the team versus your seniors on a week like this, in what could be a potential last high school career game? You played football, I played football. When your high school career ends, it's a big deal. Yeah. That's a void that doesn't ever get filled.
Never.
Is that something that you broach that topic at all, with any of those kids, or is it something that, we're not even going to talk about it because then it might be in their head?
What we talked about is, and we talked about it senior night, my pregame speech, not to give it all away, revolved around, play every play like it's your last, because it could be. You never know when an injury is going to happen or something's going to happen, and we're close to the end. And we talked about that before practice today, before practice this week. Like, you may not realize it, but it sneaks up on you awful fast. And the thing about football that makes it so special to me is, you like you said, when football's over and you take those pads off, especially for your high school football team, with your buddies, that, I just think there's a bond in football that's so special and different, because, I can go play 5-on-5 basketball somewhere, or I can go, not to demean any of those sports, they're all great, and I loved them all. I can go play slow pitch softball, or there's even competitive baseball leagues, or beat you in cornhole,
Right.
Any of that stuff.
Why'd you bring it up?
Yeah. Speaking of, his wife told me today that she had to clean out the change jar to buy a vacuum. Because of his cornhole innings.
Man, that's tough.
Edit.
But
You brought it up.
So,
Man, that's rough.
I asked her. She said, "Yeah, you need to bring that up."
Man.
Well,
done.
it was
So
brought
you
up.
came into this
Man, I walked right
prepared
into it.
tonight.
Yeah,
You
you
did.
did.
Well,
Walked right into it.
Jeez.
But no, I
Totally
think
derailed us there.
I think it's so special that those memories, that you don't want to live with the pain or regret. So, play your rear off. Play 110% every play. That way, if something happens, whether it's your last play, last game, whatever it may be, because we don't know when the end will be. We hope this ride goes on for 5 more games, but you don't know that. So don't leave anything to chance, and don't walk off the field with regret. That's the big thing that I've talked to them about, and instead of getting into it too far, is just don't walk away with the regret, whether it's regret, man, I should have practiced harder, I should have prepared more, or I could have played harder on Friday night. I could have done my assignment. I could have been more focused. I could have got more sleep instead of staying up on my phone or something like that. Don't walk away with regret, because whatever you walk away with, satisfaction or regret, it'll stick with you the rest of your life. And it may be hard for them to understand that now, but us guys that played high school football, we understand that. That's why I got into coaching. It's because it was a void that didn't leave me, that I missed the game so much, So that's what we've talked about, and I think our kids are ready for that Friday.
What team throughout the course of the regular season do you feel like plays similarly to Wichita Collegiate, to where you're like, okay, we've seen a similar kind of style that you can practice with and look back on?
I don't know if one does.
Wow.
Because they're spread, they're always in gun, but they're kind of like, I mean, I don't want to say us, but they're not a single wing, but they're a double wing team. You know, they have 2 tight ends. Their favorite formation. Now, they run a lot of different formations. They'll go empty, but they also like to run double tight, double wing, tailback in the backfield. They want to run a short sweep. They don't want to get outside necessarily. They will bounce it, but they want to go up, you know, CD gap, and they want to run quarterback counter off of that, guard tackle counter, and then they got some play action off of it and some zone, some inside outside zone. So they're a little different than what we've seen. I mean, you know, some of their concepts are similar to some of the concepts Cheney ran, Holcomb ran. They run them out of a little different formation, but they have a few different ways to run counter. You know, they're kind of like us in that they'll pull guard tackle, they'll pull guard wing, they'll pull tackle wing. They'll pull a few different ways to kind of throw you off. And so I think it's one of those that it's going to be, we talk to our kids, we want to make it a fist fight in a phone booth. You know, we want to jam them up.
That.
We don't want them to get to the edges. We don't want them to get wide because, quite frankly, they're really fast. We want to jam that in, make it a 15-yard wide field, and be physical and make plays.
So they're like a Cheney / Holcomb that's also able to recruit.
Oh, man.
I'm not going there.
Okay, I didn't know if you would. I was going to. Okay. Well, for us fans, okay, we won't go there. Okay. We'll go on to a happier note, which is the trivia segment of the week.
Oh, man.
How about that?
Here we go.
I had to come up with one last minute. Yeah, I couldn't think of one. I hope my stat checking and historical data is correct here. I could be wrong, but we're going to pretend like I'm right because that's kind of the theme of the show is unofficial stats.
We have no reason to prove you wrong.
That's right. Here we go. It's time for How Well Do You Know Your Greenbacks? Greenbacks. How well do you know your greenbacks? All right, Coach Hoelting, the bell that we've rung so often this year, the Victory Bell, was donated by Carter Barker. Do you know the year that it was donated to the Pratt High School?
I want to say I heard something like 1950.
58 is what I have.
I knew it was in the 50s somewhere.
I could be wrong on that. So the notes I have was that the Victory Bell was donated by Carter Barker, and then I have / the original was a gift from the class of 58, and it's currently in the Historical Museum. So I don't know if the one we have at the field is the one that Carter Barker donated or if...
So there's interesting.
Yeah, I'd like to find that out. So if anybody out there watching has made it this far into the show and wants to comment if they know anywhere to find that out for sure, which probably the Historical Museum probably would be a good place to check.
Interesting. That's pretty cool.
So,
awesome tradition.
Yeah. Well, and we used to never do that. That's neat. That never came into play until, I don't know when it started, but when we played, it was never, I don't know that it was there or if it was in the museum there, and I don't know. We never rang the Victory Bell after a win. So it was kind of neat to see that brought back. And,
I like
it.
And
When
see
was
all
it
the
brought
kids
back?
do. I don't know. I'm not sure what year or which coach decided to bring it back or if it was donated sometime in the last. I don't know. I'd like to find a little bit more about that because it's a neat symbol and a neat tradition that's started. So
great tradition.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for me. Unless you got anything, Austin, for him.
I'm so ready for Friday night.
I think we all are. It's going to be a big playoff game. It's
fun.
playoff football on Friday night. You can't ask for much more than that. We've got 2 great teams going head to head. I think the high school's taking a pep bus over, we should have
bus field.
Should have a good crowd. Looking forward
Shock
to
the
it.
state.
Let's shock the state
right.
Friday night. All right. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thank you.
All right.